Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today, I'm going to be going over and showcasing my Cast on Critical Chaos Inoculation Aegis Melding Ice Spear build. I guess we'll just get right into it and start with the skill tree. So for the jewels that we'll be running 3 small cluster jewels that add increased effect to max energy shield, and then stats to fill requirements, as well as int for the percent increase on mana regen and energy shield. And then we got our medium cluster jewels, which are one eye-to-eye repeater, or two eye-to-eye repeaters with dex and all attributes to continue filling requirements and add more int. Then we have a eye-to-eye shrieking bolts, so that we don't go too high on our trigger rate. And then we have a basics of pain pressure points to help fill the spell crit chance. And then we have our 2 large cluster jewels, which are both Blanketed Snow, Prismatic Heart, Widespread Destruction with all attributes in order to finish off requirements and add more int. We want to stack int so that we can get our ES as high as we possibly can. Besides that, we're running a 1 rare Cobalt jewel, triple crit strike multiplier with max energy shield. And then we are running a melding of the flesh with -4 to max elemental resistances, and it has global crit strike chance, which is helping the first form ice spear damage, but kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of it. You don't need it to cap second form crit chance. And then we have a storm shroud with corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you to get ignite immunity in the build. Then we're running a Militant Faith up towards the top side of the tree so that we can get as much non-curse aura effect and elemental damage as possible, as well as getting inner conviction. For our Watcher's Eye, I'm running a crit strike multiplier while affected by precision with gain energy shield per hit by discipline and damage pen for hatred. This is an expensive Watcher's Eye, so I would not be surprised if you couldn't find one similar for cheap. This one costed me 350 divines, so yeah, not a cheap jewel. And that's about it for jewels. Besides that, the tree is pretty self-explanatory. We're just stacking crit multi and going for power charge and curse effect synergy, as well as a few points into defensive tools and reservation. For our skills, in our shield, we're running a level 8 Anomalous Precision because it's the highest level we can run before running out of mana. A level 7 Anomalous Precision because it's the highest precision we can run without running out of mana, which helps with our first form crit chance. And then we have Val Molten Shell, which is a cast on walk. And then Tempest Shield, 2120 normal Tempest Shield. We are capping spell block without Tempest Shield, but if you don't have a double corrupted spell block Aegis, then you're going to need the Divergent version. In the gloves, we're running Herald Device, Hatred, Determination, and Awaken Enlighten. These are just kind of a couple of our damage auras as well as our armor aura. In the body armor, we're running a 7 link, so our Ulnatolls is connected to our chest piece, but we're running Cyclone, Awaken Empower, Awaken Cast on Critical, Inspiration, Ice Spear, Awaken Greater Multiple Projectiles, and Power Charge on Critical. The 7th link is very needed so that we can fit Inspiration and or Awakened Power. Without it, our damage is hindered greatly, and we've tested rare amulets versus Ulnatolls, and if we could pull off Inspiration, etc., it just wasn't working. For the helmet, we have Discipline, Awaken Enlighten, Zealotry, and Purity of Ice. We have these skills in the helmet in particular because of the level stacking that we're doing on our helmet. In our dagger, we're running Vortex, Bone Chill, and Frostblink so that we can get the Bone Chill increased ailment effect. And then Vortex is a good way for AoE applying Bone Chill and Frostblink as well. In our boots, we're running Sniper's Mark, Awakened Enhance, Mark on Hit, and Inspiration. Inspiration is reducing Sniper's Mark's cost to 0 instead of it being 20, so very important that we have that. Moving on to gear, we have a Miracle Bane Imperial Skein. This is Whimsy's also known as Gwenny's Mirror Tier Cold Dagger. It is very powerful. It's got some of the best implicits you can get, as well as the best explicits and the best Crucible tree. So it is a one-of-a-kind best in slot for this build. For the shield, we're running a Chanced Aegis Aurora that is double corrupted with +1 of level of socketed gems and 4% chance to block spell damage. The Crucible tree has chance to avoid being shocked, so that Storm Shroud gives us Ignite immunity, and then we also have max power charge, max cold res, and max energy shield. And then the Ice Spear 5th node. Please note that if you are doing this build, the dagger has the Ice Spear 5th node, so you don't actually need it on your Aegis. For the helmet, we're running Whimsy, also known as Gwenny's Ice Spear helmet, which is a general ES stacker, int stacker helmet with socketed AoE and socketed aura explicits, as well as socketed int gems. It makes for a very powerful Purity of Ice and Discipline aura effect. The triple implicit is perfect. So yeah, this is the perfect helmet that you could want for the Ice Spear build. For the body armor, we're opting out of Skin of the Loyal, double corrupted, and we're going into Skin of the Lords with Glancing Blows. This allows us to take out the Thread of Hope in the tree and replace it with a rare jewel, which honestly might be a static gain versus a double corrupted Skin of the Loyal, not to mention that double corrupted Skin of the Loyals are hard to come by, so this is a great alternative, and you barely see a loss in damage, and you get almost max block from it. So yeah, this is the Skin of the Lords you want to be running. I would like to mention we have tried doing Grasping Mail. It is far less damage. It's a bit more defense, but it is way less damage, so the Skin of the Lords makes a lot of sense here. For the gloves, we're running rare, fractured, increased hits against chilled enemies gloves with int, and as much energy shield as we can get, and then unveiled elemental damage if you've dealt a crit strike recently, and then we're crafting on damage during any flask effect. It is 3 million more damage to have the flask effect craft versus the AoE craft. Since our important auras are in our helmet, we don't have to worry about stacking the aura levels on our gloves. For our boots, we're running a classic Tailwind cooldown recovery sorcerer boot influenced craft. Mine grant Onslaught on kill, which is relevant because we're running a silver flask, and then mine also have max int. What I did to get these boots was I bought the suffixes already crafted on, so the two influenced mods slammed together with int, tier 1 int, and then I crafted on the prefixes myself because it takes a lot of effort to get max int on an Awakener slam. So for the amulets, we're running Ulmatol's Vow. We don't really care about the cold res because we are so heavily overcapped on cold res. We're really focusing on getting high fire and lightning res. We're also immune to chaos resistant or chaos damage, so chaos resistance is also irrelevant. For our rings, this is the first time I've done a cast on crit build where Kalandra's Touch isn't the best in slot as your second ring. So for our first ring, we're running a Rune Whirl Moonstone ring. This is a classic max strength to fit requirements plus int for the max ES, and then we have max ES, reduced mana cost of skills, non-channeling reduction, and crit strike multi, and then best in slot implicits. For the second ring, it's nearly identical, except the unveil we have is cold, adds cold instead of mana cost reduction because we do not need second ring to have mana cost reduction. And also this ring has curse enemies with frostbite on hit in the implicits, so very high damage increase. For the belt, I'm running a double corrupted mage blood, discipline, and crit strike multi. I was trying to get a zealotry crit strike multi, but the guy was asking for too much currency for it, so I decided not to get it and settled for a discipline aura effect. For our flasks in the Mage Blood, we're running a Granite Flask, Bismuth Flask, Quicksilver Flask, and Silver Flask with 60% armor, 25% reduced mana cost, chance to avoid being stunned, and 40% additional elemental resistances. I want to point out something that the Silver Flask is at 69% increased effect on the Enkindle intentionally, because at 70%, your trigger rate goes from 10.08 to 10.04, but at 69%, it's at 10.08. So it's technically more damage to reduce the increased effect by 1%. Reducing this down all the way down to 65% has no difference. So anywhere between 65 and 69% increased effect gives you a 10.08 trigger rate, but I'm doing 69% for the slightly added move speed bonus that you get. And yeah, that's about the build. That's the gear, the skills, and the tree. This build is hitting 244 million combined DPS on second form, all projectiles. Has an effective max hit of 2.3 million, although I think based on my experience in playing the build, it feels like way more than 2 million. But yeah, it is very tanky and has insanely high damage. I would say this build beats out Flicker Strike in most cases. It has 9,000 energy shield. It has 88% all res. You can even get that up to 90% all res at the cost of damage. It has almost max block chance. It has max spell block chance, and it has 56k armor. It has 86% fizz damage reduction. This build is fantastic. It's great at bossing. It's great at blight maps. It's great at regular map clearing. It's all content viable to the fullest extent. It's a fast build. It just feels very good. You're also getting to run the best travel skills for the build. It's just, yeah, it feels very good. It feels slightly better than Forbidden Rite cast on crit because the clear is a bit larger, which means things like simulacrums, it's better. 5-way or timeless conflict areas, it's better. Stuff like that. It's just got higher clear speed. Feels better in Delve, you know. It honestly feels better at bossing now that it's to the point where it's at. It's got way more damage than the cast and crit build, so yeah. I have stared at my POB for hours and hours and hours trying to make this as perfect as possible, and there are still a few things I want to look at possibly changing, but I'm pretty set in stone with how the build looks. I will tell you that this build is at the cost of about 8 or 9 mirrors now, so it's not cheap at all, but it is awesome. Obviously, you can make budget versions of this build. This is clearly a min-maxed version. I just really like the build, so I tried my best to min-max it to the fullest extent. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like it if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more Path of Exile content. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, see you later. Hey guys, I just wanted to add this at the end of the video. While I was editing this, I talked to Whimsy about the idea of his mirror services and how you guys could potentially get some benefits out of it for watching my video. So the dagger is currently in the TFT shop, so unfortunately that fee is not going to be alterable, but the helmet and ring, if you guys came from my video and want to mirror the helmet and frostbite on hit ring, you can go to Whimsy. I'll leave his IGN on the screen here, and say you came from my video, and he'll give you the mirror service for free. All you need is the mirror to copy the item. So yeah, happy playing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.